I absolutely love The Binding of Isaac. I first discovered the game as an unassuming little demo during one of my random trips to Newgrounds, and I immediately fell in love with its gameplay. While I'm no Northern Lion who has literally thousands of episodes here on YouTube, this game has absorbed hundreds of hours of my life, and I happily throw more and more hours at it every time new content is released. But what is it that makes this game so addictive to play for so many people? Ultimately, that's a really subjective question to ask and will change from player to player, so I don't know why you're even bothering to ask me. But since the next DLC has finally been announced to come out on January 4th, 2017, I figured what better time than now to make a video to talk about why I specifically love this game so much. I can't talk about how great this game is without first talking about what drew me in the first place. The Binding of Isaac wears its inspirations on its sleeve. The layout of the map, the names and functions of many of the items, and all the way down to the very UI of the original iteration of the game all scream The Legend of Zelda in a completely unmistakable way. It's a look that brings a little bit of nostalgia with it, but it's also a look that becomes a little bit shocking once you realize the subject matter of the game. The Binding of Isaac's first impression is incredibly strong. You're dropped into an empty room with nothing but your controls written on the floor, and you're left staring into the face of a naked, crying child and a choice. Which direction do I go? Once you choose, your first enemies are usually going to be a few harmless little flies, until you finally reach that one room that pits you against something shocking and disgusting. The simplicity of the controls, combined with the dichotomy of UI and level design that invokes nostalgia against something that you really didn't expect, leaves a very strong impression that makes the game stick out in your mind. And it's not just the enemies that are shocking either. Isaac himself is a naked child who shoots tears from his own crying eyes to defeat enemies as he flees from his mother who's brandishing a chef's knife at him. And eventually you find an item like a coat hanger or something that you pick up and oh my god, oh, it's inside his head! Ugh, excuse me, I feel better now. There's a ton of items in the game that have an effect on Isaac's look, and more often than not, they add up to turn him into something truly grotesque by the end of the game. Part of the excitement in this game is in seeing what Isaac will look like this time. And since we're on the items, there are so many of them. The game starts you off with a very limited pool of items so that you have an easier time learning what they all do, and more are unlocked as you progress through the game and get better and better. And I think that's where this game's true brilliance lies, and what makes it so incredibly addictive to people like me. The fact that there are so many fun and interesting items to unlock. You unlock items for reaching certain levels, for beating certain bosses, for collecting so many coins, for buying things from the shop, and so on and so on. It's built around hundreds of tiny milestones that challenge you to surpass them. And because of that, it's all too easy to say just one more game over and over again until you realize it's 3 a.m. and you have to go to work in 5 hours. And yes, I've done this on many occasions. The milestones go further than just the items too. Your endpoint and final goals of a run change as you improve at the game. For example, the final boss of your first few runs may not be the final boss of your 100th run. And just in case someone is watching this video and hasn't experienced or doesn't know what that means yet, I'll just leave it at that. But if you have played this game, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're probably able to remember the moment when you realized the implication of this little fact. Frankly, The Binding of Isaac is one of my favorite games of all time, and the amount of creative juice behind it continues to impress me. Every single iteration feels like it has so many items and so much to accomplish, and then there's yet another DLC or new version to tackle that extends everything that makes it so great by more than you could ever expect. Needless to say, I am incredibly excited to dive into the second DLC of Rebirth, titled Afterbirth Plus. Real creative, guys, good job on that name. More items, more enemies, more rooms, more challenges, more everything, I can't wait! And if all that wasn't enough, Afterbirth Plus promises to bring a full modding API to the game so we can get more and more of everything even easier than we could before. I'm hoping I'll have some time to dive into the API myself. The only thing that really upsets me about this DLC is that it's not coming out until after the winter break. So that's just super unfortunate for me. Anyway, so that's gonna have to do it for this video, so please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Or if you're an Isaac player and you have some item ideas that aren't already in the game, I'd love to hear about them. With a full modding API, who knows? Maybe you'll see it in the game someday. And finally, don't forget to do all the usual social media stuff. Like the video, dislike the video, follow me on Twitter at ingeniousclown, and hit that subscribe button for more awesome gaming content here in the future. And I will see you next time.